Hey everybody, and welcome to KO Airbrushing's Tutorial Tuesday. Today we're going to do a tutorial on stencils. I've been requested to do so. Going to be working on multiple different kinds, from paper to bought stencils to homemade mylar style stencils, different kind of masking materials, found objects. We're going to do a few things. So let me get turned around here and we'll get right to it. Okay, stencils. Pretty much anything can be used as a stencil. We'll get that right off the bat. If you can spray through it, you can use it as a stencil. You can buy pre-made stencils, for example, from companies like Art Tool. They make great stencils. They're nicely cut. You don't get a lot of edges when it's supposed to be round. So they're a really good quality stencil, but you can really use anything. So there are different materials you can use, like FBS makes a gold mask tape like this that you can use as a stencil. Tear it, cut it, whatever you want. They also make a blue one now, which is a vinyl. You can get Frisket, you can get clear stuff, like in rolls. Oracal Vinyls makes one specifically for running through a vinyl cutter. So there's just so many different things that you can use for stencils. Found objects are a great thing, right? So this is just a piece of screen mesh, but this kind of stuff works really good. Lace that you can get in a fabric store is another wonderful mask. You can get some really great things happening with that stuff too. So I didn't have it close enough to get all of the detail. Let's try that. We'll move it a little bit closer here. See if I can get some of that other mesh to show up there. So when you're using stuff like this, it's just a matter of having to contact the surface so that you can get the pattern that you want. So there, now you can see it's got the entire mesh kind of look to it there. I'll zoom in on that so you can see it a little bit better. And I'm just going to put some more paint in my brush. But yeah, so like I said, you can use pretty much anything at all for a stencil. Gerald Mendez Art Studios. Gerald Mendez makes just brilliant stencils. Like, these things are awesome. A lot of people don't like them because they are more of a paper, but if you don't spray through them stupidly heavy, they'll hold up for a long time. That's for sure. Like I said, other found objects. This is a crazy cut paper stencil for a piece that I'm working on right now of a 57 Chevy for a client. Like I said, you can use so many different things. And like I showed you there with that first piece of mesh, the distance that you are away makes a difference in what you see through the stencil too, right? So for example, if I just take, I'll just take this. Up there a little bit, there we go. And so if I'm doing just a spray through with it contacting, right, you're going to get a nice clean edge on those bricks. So when you take it off, you're going to have a brick wall, right? But if you take that and hold it up from the surface and spray through it, if I can, if it's going to let me, you're going to get a completely different effect. So here now you're almost getting more of a snakeskin kind of a pattern as opposed to a brick wall. Same thing when you're working with just a regular paper stencil like this. So again, your distance, your air pressure, all that kind of stuff makes a bit of a difference. So again, you're up close, you're going to get a nice harsh kind of a line. But if you pull it back and get it up off the surface, and you can see how that edge changes depending on how close or how far away you are, right? So like even here, the air was pushing it down, so it's getting a little bit tighter. But over here where I was able to hold it up because of the curve of the paper, it's so much softer, right? And again, like I said, found object stuff. I really do like lace. Lace works freaking amazing for getting nice patterns and things like that. Like there's just so many different patterns that you can get in lace, and for a lot of stuff it makes an incredibly good background piece. It's useful if you're doing, say, a tablecloth in a picture or something in a painting, things like that. It just works so good. So yeah, I'm just showing you this just to show you can use pretty much anything, right? So you're doing a painting of a sailing ship in this case. And just like that, you've got a wheel to work with. And like I was saying with like Gerald Mendez stencils, if you're doing things like scales and that kind of stuff, his stencils are just so good for doing like snake skins, texture in concrete floors, that kind of stuff. Normally if I'm doing a piece for a customer, like a client piece like I am over on my Facebook page right now, I'm doing a couple. I normally make one stencil, and over the course of the piece it gets cut apart and put back together and cut apart and put back together. By the time I'm done doing the painting, there's normally not a lot left of the stencil. And again, I'll show you the same thing. Like here we've got uptight. I'll show you how it looks when you get away a little bit. And this is a little bit stiffer. This isn't just plain paper, so this will actually stay up and hold its distance. And when you do this, you still want to keep your brush horizontal, right? So you're getting a very cloud-like appearance, but I was about 1.5 inches away. So like I said, there are just so many different stencil materials out there that you can use to hand cut, machine cut. Just look for stuff that looks cool, right? Like you're in the dollar store, there's so many things in the dollar store in the way of mesh and stuff like that, right? This is like a Mylar type of a substrate that you can get. It's a Martha Stewart thing that I picked up at Michael's. And I mean, it's nice and thin. It's easy to cut by hand. You can draw on it with a marker, like a Sharpie or whatever like that, so that you got something to follow if you need to. So there's that kind of stuff. Here's another good one. This is just a piece of house screen, and that works really good too. So for example, the house screen is nice because it's got a steady pattern to it, right? So for example, if you take the pieces flat, right? Okay, this is your horizon line. You want to make a fence. So you can just take and lay that down at an angle so that you're getting the fence at the angle that you want. And you've basically got a very fine chain link fence. But it does give you something to work with so that you could go in and highlight that by hand if you wanted to. I'll see if I can zoom in on that so you can see it. So I don't know, I hope you guys can see that. There is a chain link pattern in there, you know, and then it would just be a matter of putting in your posts or whatever you want to do, right? And like with this, for example, once you have this kind of a thing done and down, then you can do whatever you want with this. You can go back in, you can pull out an edge and start giving that, say you're doing a scales on a dragon or something like that, you can start giving this a little bit of dimension. Also gives you the ability to work in a light source. So I'm shading the one side, so obviously my light source is coming from over this way. So like I said, I mean, if you're out at the dollar store, just look for cool stuff. Mesh, and it doesn't really matter what it is. If you can spray through it or spray around it to get a silhouette to work from, then it's worth looking at as a mask of some sort. And I mean, just don't limit your thought, right? Because there's so many things that you can use. So here, for example, I'm doing a fence post on something that's up close. So I can just go in, zap around a paintbrush. There you go. You have a post, just like that. Tools, scissors, anything you want. Anything can literally be a stencil, right? So you're doing a piece. And you want to put some tools into it. You don't want to take the time to run through drawing it all out by hand. So there you go. There's a pair of pliers. Now you detail it out. By doing it this way, right, you're keeping your edges soft so that when you go in and freehand, by the time you're done, nobody even realizes that you used a stencil. It doesn't look like you've ever used a stencil. So there you go, guys. This one didn't need to be a long one, unfortunately. Or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. But again, like I said, you know, find something. If you think it looks interesting, try it. It doesn't hurt. Because anything can be a stencil. Anything can be worked from. Need to put a bobby pin in your piece. Or a quarter. Or you need a circle that's about that size. There you go. Work to me. A moon or whatever you want it to be. That easy. Give it a little bit of a shadow. Now all of a sudden it's a three-dimensional object. Instead of a quarter, it's a ball. You know, it's very, very easy to use anything. So just remember, don't limit your imagination. If you see something that looks cool, you can probably use it. So yeah, have at her, guys. Anything you can find that you think you can spray through, spray around, it's going to be a neat, whether it's like this where it's a negative image that you're getting, you know, or whatever, right? Like whatever you want to do, anything can be used as a stencil. All right, everybody, I hope that was okay. It made sense. If you have any questions, you know the drill. Leave them in the comments. If you like the video, please share it. Subscribe if you're not. I'll be doing lots and lots of videos like this. It's always going to be your choice what I do. Again, this was somebody had asked me to do a video on stencils. So I did. So anything you guys want to see as a video, that's what I'll do for you. I am going to show you one more thing here. No, I'm not, because it's not out here. I was going to show you a paper stencil that I've been working on for one of the pieces that I'm actually doing. Well, and I can show you this because I'm doing the front of a gas station. So this is the windows. I've taken the windows out of the stencil so that I could spray the outside framework and everything, and spray the outside of the windows themselves. So, like I said, if you guys are interested in following what I'm doing for clients, follow me over on KO Airbrushing on Facebook. I do a live feed on a regular basis. Tuesdays, I don't always, just for the simple fact that I'm doing the tutorial for everybody. But yeah, feel free, follow along. And like I said, if you have any questions whatsoever, please leave them in the comments. I will get back to you as soon as I can. And there will be another tutorial next Tuesday. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Thank you for supporting KO Airbrushing and the tutorials. Take care.